Admiral Jake Morrison stood at the center of the massive council chamber, feeling very small. The room stretched high above him, with seats arranged in circles that went up and up until they disappeared into shadows. Hundreds of alien beings stared down at him, their eyes glowing in colors he had never seen before. He tried to keep his face calm, but inside his heart was beating fast. This was the moment Earth had been waiting for. 3 long years of talks, meetings, and careful planning had led to this day. Today, humanity would ask to join the Galactic Federation. The chamber buzzed with strange sounds. Some aliens clicked and whistled. Others made low humming noises. A few spoke in voices that sounded like music. Jake could not understand most of it, but his translator earpiece was working hard to keep up. "Silence!" called a voice that boomed through the room. The sound came from the High Council platform, where the most powerful alien leaders sat. "We will now hear from the human delegation." Jake stepped forward. His boots made small clicking sounds on the smooth floor. Behind him walked Commander Lisa Hayes, carrying a silver case that held Earth's most important documents. She looked calm and professional in her dark blue uniform, but Jake knew she was nervous too. "Honored members of the Galactic Federation," Jake began, his voice echoing in the huge space. "I am Admiral Jake Morrison, speaking for the planet Earth and all humanity. We come before you today with respect and hope." A sound like laughter rippled through the chamber. It was not friendly laughter. Jake felt his stomach tighten, but he continued speaking. "For 3 years we have learned about your great civilization. We have seen how different species work together for peace and progress. Earth wishes to join this noble cause." More laughter. Louder this time. Jake saw some aliens nudging each other with what looked like amusement. A tall creature with crystal skin was actually pointing at him and making the sound like breaking glass. The Zephyrian ambassador stood up. His body was made of what looked like living crystal, and light danced inside him as he moved. When he spoke, his voice rang like a bell. "Tell us, little human," Vextar said, and Jake could hear the mockery in his words. "What exactly can your species offer the Federation? What great military might do you bring to our alliance?" Jake took a deep breath. This was the moment he had been dreading. "Commander Hayes will present our fleet capabilities." Lisa stepped forward and opened her silver case. She pulled out a datapad and began reading from it. Earth's space fleet currently consists of 12 operational starships. These include 6 frigates, 4 destroyers, and 2 command vessels. The chamber exploded with noise. Aliens were chittering, hissing, and making sounds that might have been laughter. Some were slapping what might have been knees with appendages. That might have been hands. A massive reptilian creature rose from his seat. His scales were dark green and covered with old scars. This was War Chief Scare of the Korthek hegemony, and his yellow eyes burned with amusement. 12 ships? Scar's voice was like gravel grinding together. Did the human say 12 ships? "My personal guard has more vessels than that." The laughter grew louder. Jake felt his face getting hot, but he forced himself to stay still. "Furthermore," Lisa continued, trying to speak over the noise, "our ships use chemical propulsion systems and kinetic weapons technology." This brought even more laughter. The crystal being Vextar was making a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. "Chemical propulsion. Do you hear this? They still burn fuel like primitives." An elegant creature with flowing robes floated down from the upper seats. This was Ambassador Quindle of the Etherians. Her people were known for being polite, but even she seemed amused. "Honored humans," she said in a voice like soft music. "Perhaps you have misunderstood the purpose of the Galactic Federation. We are a military alliance. Our members must be able to contribute meaningful defense capabilities." "Your 12 little ships," interrupted another alien with too many arms, "could not defend a single mining station, let alone a colony world." War Chief Scare stood up again, his massive form casting the shadow over the human delegation. "I have seen your vessels through our long-range scanners. They are barely adequate for moving cargo between your moon and your planet. One of my destroyers could defeat your entire fleet without taking damage." The chamber filled with agreement sounds from dozens of different species. Jake felt like he was shrinking, but he noticed something. His aide, Lieutenant Ben Carter, was standing quietly near the wall. Ben was not looking upset or embarrassed. Instead, he was holding a small recording device and seemed to be taking careful notes. "The Federation has standards," announced a being that looked like a floating jellyfish with too many eyes. "Only species with real military power can join our alliance. You humans are clearly not ready." Vextara's crystal body flashed with bright light. "Perhaps in a few hundred years, when you have learned to build proper starships, you may apply. Again, until then, stick to what you do best." "And what would that be?" Jake asked, though he was not sure he wanted to hear the answer. "Farming," said War Chief Scare with a sound that was definitely laughter. "Your species seems well suited for agricultural work. Leave the fighting to real warriors." The chamber erupted again. Aliens were making sounds of agreement and amusement. Some were pointing at the humans and speaking to their neighbors in languages the translators could not handle. Ambassador Quindle raised a graceful hand for silence. "The Galactic Federation Council formally rejects Earth's application for membership. You may reapply when your military capabilities meet our minimum standards." Jake felt like he had been punched in the stomach, but he kept his expression neutral. "We understand the Council's decision. Thank you for your time." As the human delegation prepared to leave, War Chief Scare called out one final insult. "Tell your people not to feel bad, humans. Building a real fleet takes thousands of years. Your 12 toy boats are a good start for such a young species." The laughter followed them as they walked toward the exit. Jake's boots clicked on the floor, but now the sound seemed louder and more lonely. Lisa walked beside him, her face red with anger and embarrassment. As they reached the door, Lieutenant Ben Carter caught up with them. He was still holding his recording device, and there was something strange in his eyes.